Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod. Joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
I noticed you've been turning up the energy a little bit on the Karen.
I have, because I thought about what you were saying, and sometimes it's not that I'm low energy, it's just the fact that, I'm like, okay, but then, like you said, the show goes on, I get louder.
Yeah.
Because you know me, I'm just a loud ass person.
Yeah, it's just, why allow the equipment to have the same level of volume the whole time? Make it work. I hear you. Make it do some work.
That's what we paid for.
The official weapon of the show is
the taser.
No, it's not. The official weapon of the show is
the folded chair.
And the unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
And bullet ball extreme.
See, this is why y'all hear that delay, because I have to think about it. For real.
But listen, I'm glad everybody tuned in. Okay, we're live on Crowdcast. You can get a notification that we're live. You can get an email. You can get on the app. And if you go to crowdcast.io, you can sign up and follow us and choose to allow it to notify you. And you can get to be in the chat room with all the other wonderful people who are always in the chat room. And they're very funny in there. And we listen to music when I start the show. I was listening to some Biggie today. Mm-hmm. And, they got their own stuff that they talk about and whatever is happening in the day. Sometimes there's topics we don't even bring up that they're talking about in the chat room. Mm-hmm. Come be a part of that community. Come get your laugh on, man. You're out there being a loner.
Mm-hmm. By yourself. They're very welcoming too.
Come be alone together with us.
Yes.
And also leave us 5-star reviews, feedback, all of that stuff. It helps the show out a lot. We love when you guys do that. Your feedback is its own episode every week, and that episode is as long as y'all want it to be, basically based on what y'all had to say about what we had to say.
Yes, sir.
So make sure y'all do that. I think we can start the show now, but we have to start it, of course, with some banter, because that's what the podcast big dogs do. It's time to banter.
That's what the people want.
All right, banter time. Karen, what's going on over there?
Nothing much. Like I said, I am actually a very, very boring person, so there's nothing happening over here.
Nothing's happening for Karen. Okay, 2 days in a row. You didn't think of anything. You didn't go anywhere. You didn't watch anything. You didn't see anything on social media. You just
so it's just anything. Oh, okay.
I mean, I've just been saying anything over here. I don't know why you think it's not like I'm also as boring as you. I'm not coming on here every day like, oh, I just came back from the moon. I had a trip.
right. Oh, yeah, child. Yes, y'all know, honey. I can talk, but something you had brought this up before, and it's actually hilarious. For those of you that actually listen to Spotify, well, actually just across the board, we put out commercials that we clip them, ones that we do, and I seen people commenting about the most recent one we put up, and it was hilarious. I had a good time doing that. That one was actually my idea. So I appreciate we got to do my idea and let it come forward. It was actually really fun to record it and stuff like that. And people were saying how you make them laugh every time. I'd be like, girl, we broke. And you'd be like, not too much about me being broke.
Yeah, that was fun. That was your idea. And it was a good one. We try to do the live read for Spotify, for podcasts, differently every month. They make us change it every month. So since they make us change it, we try to, do more than just the bare minimum of like, hey, it's Spotify, everybody, And so, we always are thinking of stuff. And I thought that was a funny idea. We had a good time doing it. We recorded like 2 or 3 times and then put it out there. As for my banter, it was cool. We had a table read for Drapetomaniax today. And when we were talking, Michael Harriet, who knows everybody Black, kind of dropped that he was talking with Ta-Nehisi Coates about Drapetomaniax. He's listened to the podcast apparently.
Wow.
Which right. Y'all know I hold him in very high esteem. And he asked Michael directly about the concept I came up with, the main line. So that whole thing about how you can, talk to the ancestors and they can call and or you can call them and you can, hear what they have to say throughout history, is a concept I came up with when we were just thinking of storytelling devices for the show.
Right.
And people liked it and they were like, oh, we can probably include this in multiple stories and stuff. And I was like, absolutely. Like, that and this is what super wild because I didn't write this thing for me to do and I didn't even think I would do it. I actually thought it might even get cut, but he really liked when I played Gustav, the the slave that was treated like a dog, in life, very, like it's based on something real,
right?
But I feel like my job is to try to turn some of this stuff into a way that it can be consumed by people. And so
it was not to cut you off, but I'm just thinking because like it hit a lot of people by surprise, you know what I'm saying? Because you just listening, it just kind of comes out of nowhere. But the thing is, it was actually really, really well done, and it fits. It like fits across the board, and it was really well done and really well executed. And it was actually hilarious, even though you're making a point in it, it was still actually hilarious.
Yeah, and so the performance is one part of it. I had to record it a few different ways. I think I played some of it either on the pregame, behind the scenes, or something. But the performance of it was hard. I was doing like a DMX impression. I'm not a person. I don't think I sound like DMX in any way at all, ever. And when I wrote it, I thought somebody will be doing a DMX impression, and that'll make it good. But to be the person that actually did it was interesting. But you never know who's listening to what work. I know that doesn't necessarily translate to anything, but I hold Ta-Nehisi Coates' work in such like high esteem and stuff. Like his Black Panther run for Marvel is just
top notch.
To me, one of the things a legend where it's like, God damn, this motherfucker cared. You know what I mean? Like it was different and it was like futuristic, and nerdy and black, but it just was like, there's just a difference when somebody like really gives a fuck.
Right, about their work.
Like I feel like you could sit down with him and he could talk to you about the history of Wakanda as if it was a physical place that had a physical history and all the places that surrounded and stuff. And it's a bit heady. I know people that couldn't get into it because it was like, oh my God, the level of detail is too much for me. But for me, I really loved it. I would look at the maps at the end and read the like descriptions of the wars and conflicts they had and all this different stuff. So like, to get that level of praise from him, or just, I guess, interest, because I didn't hear it myself, but to hear that, you just never know what you're doing. And I think this is one of the reasons I always try to like put full effort in what I'm doing as far as like caring. Like I don't half-ass something. I don't turn shit in and be like, fuck it, this ain't for me anyway, or whatever. Like I want people to feel, impressed and that I'm doing good work and it matters to me in that level. I'm glad that I approached it that way. I was thinking yesterday about how a lot of stuff's worked out for me in life by just being pleasant to work with. Like doing a good job, being nice to people, trying to be fair to everyone. Because people have their own interpersonal conflicts and stuff, and I just want to be fair to people. I don't want to just come in with preconceived notions or whatever.
Right.
And being straight up with people, but not being mean.
Correct.
So like I can have a concern. It doesn't have to become a conflict that I have a concern. And there's stuff that I say, like I'm not joking when I say the stuff I say on the podcast about people are all things that I feel comfortable with them hearing. I would say it to their face if it's like a friend or something.
Right.
you keep it from coming from like a nasty place. Try to keep it positive, and not just piling on and stuff. So like, it really has worked out for me so far. Just being pleasant and being good. Like I can't stress that enough. Like I am very good at things I choose to do.
Yeah, you are.
So I think a lot of people's hangups comes from the fact that they're not good or that they're not gonna put in the work. Not saying everybody's hangup is like that, but sometimes people's hangup is it's some interior shit that you can't fix from the outside. They have to fix themselves, right? And then it lashes out at people a different way. I think it's insecurity that makes people like lash out at their coworkers and shit. It's like, well, you were secure in your job and what you do. There's no need to yell at somebody, you know?
Right.
And the myth that tortured genius is the only way, you got to be an asshole to be good at your job and stuff is something that just needs to die, and I hope is dying, because it just empowers the worst elements of human beings.
Right. And one of the thing is that nobody likes to work with asses. No matter how good they are, no matter how great they are at their job, no matter how much of a genius they are, the second something happens or it's a downfall or it's a lawsuit or something like that, everybody comes out of the wood. They're like, yeah, they were fucking terrible to work with. Like, people will come out and people will talk about people and they will work with them, but just because somebody works with you does not mean that they like you and your personality. They do it because they go, well, you're being rewarded, but you're still an ass. Like, you being an ass does not erase, because there are a lot of pleasant and nice and friendly people out in the world that are very, very good at their job too, but a lot of times they don't get the recognition and the praise that they should for not being an ass. It's like being an ass almost gets a bonus point, and on top of that, not all the time, but being an ass is also gender specific a lot of times in the working place, because a man can come in and be a complete dick, pull his dick out and show his motherfucking ass, but the second a woman puffs the wrong way, she's a bitch, she's terrible at her job, she's difficult to work with, and you're like, okay, I barely said anything, but this motherfucker turned over, bent his whole ass over, and everybody's like, yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, even when women do shit the right way, there's like a tone to how a woman being in charge is supposed to be. It's supposed to be like this nurturing, motherly thing. And if a woman is like, I'm not doing all that extra labor, my job is to tell you no, or this didn't work, or this does work. Good job, bad job, not, I'm not trying to be your friend. There's a cost to that. I still feel like Hillary Clinton is such a great example of, if that was a man, she'd have been president. It wouldn't have been close, in my opinion.
I agree.
But it's a woman, and you can't convince. Misogyny is worse than racism in some cases, because you can't convince people they're misogynistic. It doesn't matter if they're Andrew Tate. It doesn't matter if it's Drake. None of them people think they're misogynistic. You listening to the sound of my voice, you don't think you're misogynistic. I don't think I'm very misogynistic. Like, no one wants to embrace, like, fuck, I got some double standards about that shit, and I hadn't really thought about it.
Right.
And because it doesn't matter how extreme the person is, it affects everything. And you said no one likes to work with asses, but Dr. Miami would beg to differ. Okay, he only works on asses.
That's
an exception to that rule.
Put like this, that's a different type of ass. But like this, that ass jiggles. That ass don't talk back.
Okay, well, I don't know. I've seen them.
I'm sorry.
You following the wrong Instagram people. Okay?
I take that back. Them asses do clap. So
they clap. Yeah, they could applaud.
I apologize to the ass cheeks. There's a difference between the ass cheeks and people just being an ass.
Just saying, they out here.
I want to, make sure people know the difference between the two.
Yeah, and I know people are like, Black history is terrible and hard to listen to and stuff, and maybe it really is for you. And if so, then I guess there's just zero tolerance, and you would never be able to. But I implore y'all, man, check out Drapetomaniax. It's different. It's not what you think. It's different every week.
And you're learning a lot,
too. It makes me so happy when y'all listen, and y'all don't even know which parts I wrote. Y'all don't even know which episodes I wrote for in general. And because it's collaborative, it's not like I'm writing every line of dialogue like people. But whenever somebody like highlights something I wrote, I'll be wanting to just like at them like, I wrote that. Like someone in the chat just now was like, when the news lady said her Beyonce concert money was in the bank, telling the reporter to shoot, I wrote that. You know, like that,
hilarious.
like that made me so happy, you know, to know that, like, oh, you got that, and it was funny, and it worked, because what we're doing also is not like a lot of other podcasts. I don't know if there's another podcast like this. I'm not talking shit on like other shows. I mean it. Me and Karen listen to everything. I don't know that there's another show doing what Drapetomaniax does in the way we do it. We're not telling a story over the course of a season. We're telling Black stories, and we're just not. We're thinking of all the different angles, and the team is it's a labor of love, because it's a lot of work and a lot of different type of people trying to make this thing that is about the experience of Black Americans, but should be consumed and listened to by anybody. You can be informed by it, and we're taking into consideration people's emotions and feelings, and everything you think about when we talk about this stuff, we're taking into consideration. And you know, I feel like it should be getting more love than it's getting. You know, I feel like it, you know, it might be one of those things when we get done and then somebody's like, oh shit, this show existed? How come I didn't know? I feel like this is one of those how come I didn't know about it shows. And I'm trying to tell people now so they can know about it. You know, like, I don't know what other podcasts are doing, but like, we should be winning awards for this shit. Like, we should get like an NAACP award or some shit. I'm not joking. I'm not, this ain't a brag to my own horn type thing. This is a statement of the facts. Like, I know what we're doing is that special, and it, you know, hopefully at some point people will be able to understand the undertaking that this was. And if you think it's easy, I fucking dare you, go try it yourself, make something better.
Come on. And it's also one of those things that, like, me and Roger, we listen to a lot, probably a lot more than the average person when it comes to podcasts, different types of podcasts, different kinds of podcasts across a lot of different genres. And I remember when I listened to the very first episode, as somebody who can kind of be like, oh, that's gonna be something special. Like, most of the time, if I initially think that, 9 times out of 10, I'm right. You know what I'm saying? Like, things may happen, it might fall apart, people might not get along, but you go, oh, this is something special, and if they keep up with this could turn into something great. And I felt like that from the very first episode, because it's so different, it's so unique. There's literally, when I mean nothing else out there like it, it's nothing else out there like it. You are literally educating people in a funny and unique manner. And for some people, after they hear these names, you know what they're going to do? Start looking, start digging, start investigating, start being like, hey, I didn't know this. And some of the stuff is like happening in like people's cities that they actually live in that they didn't even know. Hey, that's 10 miles up the road from me. Hey, that's such a, why have I never heard of
I didn't know about most of these people. And I love this type of history. I read a lot of it. You know, of course, Michael knows all of it. He's fucking Mr. Black History.
I know.
But like, you know, there's stuff that I feel like I'm very versed in it, if not more than the average person. And even for me, there's stories on there where I'm just like, wait, what? A Black man brought vaccination to America, and white people kept dying in pandemics to this day because they didn't trust the Black people making the fucking vaccine,
and use some of the same tactics they still use to this day.
Yeah, techniques.
Yeah, I mean,
tactics. Okay, yeah. I thought you said taxes.
Yes. That they use to this day, saying that, you know, it's a hoax, saying that it ain't real. But you know what happened? Enough of them died, but they were like, you damn, you know, too many of us is dying.
Yes. So, and then, you know, in other banter news, okay. Hopefully people like these banter segments.
Yeah, I'm about to say, while you was talking, I came up with 2.
Oh, you came up? Okay, well, go ahead. You go.
Somebody in the chat asked me what I ate today, and we ate some dumplings from the dumpling lady, and they were absolutely good. They were they were different, because we normally get them steamed, and they were fried, and they were really, really.
The dumpling lady has 2 locations, for those that don't know. And so the first location, it's in Optimus Hall. They used to have a food truck. They don't anymore. And they got a new one on South End, and it has one different dish. And if y'all know me, which many of you probably don't know this about me, but I love a pan-fried dumpling.
Love dumplings.
And my favorite place, Lotus 2.
I
think they got bought by somebody.
They did.
And they didn't change the whole menu. There's a lot of stuff that's the same.
Mm-hmm.
They got that. I still, number 30, no shrimp, extra chicken is still my white rice, spring roll. But my main thing I loved there was they had pan-fried dumplings. They were the best in Charlotte.
They were the good dumplings. They weren't them generic ass, hard ass dumplings.
Even when we moved up the street away from them, I'll make the trip to go get them.
Mm-hmm.
They stopped making those. They sell a different type of dumpling. They sell them the whack ass generic microwave dumplings that fucking suck. The ones you can just buy at any store.
Yes.
That they suck. They're the worst.
They fall apart. They're not thick. I can't
everything's wrong with them.
Yes.
Just whatever, I don't like them. And so I've been looking for replacement dumplings, and I've been trying different places. And they're almost all like that in Charlotte. Unless you want to go to like a dim sum place.
Yeah, I don't know if they all buy from the same people, but I like this must be the cheapest type of dumplings, and most people don't give a fuck. They just eat them, and you're like, this shit is not good.
Yeah, but I'm not a snob, but I definitely the average dumpling is whack in general. I've had better. I demand better. I deserve better.
Come on.
Anyway. They got some pan-fried dumplings now at this new location on South End. So I said, as soon as I seen it was a location open and they was going to have them, because I follow them on Instagram, I was trying to get them dumplings. First day, they didn't have them on the menu. And so I ordered food from there, and I was like, fuck, I don't see the dumplings. And I was like, oh, well, I'll just get some regular dumplings and shit. But then on Instagram today, I seen they put up the flag that said, hey, we got the pan fries out. I said, let's fucking go. So I ordered some, and they were good.
They was really good. It came with some red sauce. The sauce was spicy.
Yeah, chili sauce.
Yes.
But this chili oil sauce. But listen, what else was good? We went to McDonald's. They got mambo sauce now for the dipping sauce on the nuggets.
That was my other thing. The mambo sauce is actually pretty good.
It was really good. I was surprised.
Me too.
And they also got something called like sweet and spicy jam or something. I didn't know they had that. Oh. I'll definitely have to give it a shot. But that mambo sauce was good.
But you know what I want them to come back with? That motherfucking BTS nugget sauce. Mm-hmm. When they did that BTS special, everybody kept raving about how good that nugget sauce was.
It was good.
So I went and I was like, I want some BTS sauce. Honey, I went every day until they was like, we ain't got it no more. And I almost cried when they told me. I was like, make it permanent. That shit is motherfucking flames. So next time the BTS sauce come, bitch, I'm be like, can I get some?
In other banter news, Pat McAfee show every Tuesday. First of all, Pat McAfee is a former NFL player. He has a show that was super popular on, I don't know if he was on like FanDuel before this or something, but it was a super popular podcast. ESPN bought it, basically bought the rights to put it on their TV. And the only thing they made them do is like, you can't say fuck. But essentially the show is unchanged. They do what they've been doing. It's been going for over a month there. It's very football heavy. They talk a lot of sports, but mostly football. And it mostly is like, it's interesting because most of you have probably heard of this show over the past couple of years because of Aaron Rodgers clips.
Yes.
Pat McAfee and Aaron Rodgers are good friends. Every Tuesday, Aaron Rodgers exclusively calls into Pat McAfee.
Yeah, particularly during the pandemic.
During the NFL season.
Yeah.
He FaceTimes in on Tuesday. They talk shit, and they ask him, it's generic football stuff. It's for the most part, 99% of the interview is just, hey man, what do you think about this? And so with that 1%, that 5% is the time when they talk to him about, he said something controversial. Mm-hmm. He's talked about using psychedelic drugs, and people acted like that was so edgy and different, but I really didn't find it to be that. I was like, okay, like he seemed like the type. I don't know what and then but his vaccine thoughts have been somewhat controversial. He's also a guy who lied about being vaccinated, and and people hold him in high esteem, or at least held him at high esteem within the industry. I never really understood, and I still don't understand, to be honest. I always felt like people treated him like he was smarter than he's earned with his public topics, and
Agreed.
I don't know where that comes from, what connections he has to media people, but I don't see it. It is what it is. But he's good TV in that the clips, he'd be saying something about the vaccines, making jokes and stuff. It was during the height of the vaccine mandates and all this stuff. And then ESPN and different radio stations will pick it up. You put it on TV, you discuss it. And what happens with a lot of this stuff is kind of what happened with Joe Rogan and Spotify. The company goes, why don't we just buy the people that are making the content that we're discussing?
Right.
You know what's better than us talking about Pat McAfee is having Pat McAfee on our airwaves. And then that becomes company content that we're recycling. And then everyone's talking about it the next day. And it's not like we're borrowing the rights for it or getting a clip off. So if that happened, and if you want to see more, tune in at noon every day on our show, and you might see, And I thought, because I wasn't paying attention to Pat McAfee like that, I thought that's what the show was. I was like, oh, it's one of these weird kind of like dog whistly, unspoken alt-right, somewhat conservative shows that delves into the just asking questions type of politics. Different podcasters do it. I'm not that remarkable. It kind of happens a lot, but it's also very, very popular with certain sections of the country, because they're like,
that's their jam.
Yeah, they're like, he didn't say the vaccine doesn't work. He didn't say the vaccine didn't work, but he asked a lot of questions. I thought that's what he was doing, but it turns out he doesn't really do that. I've seen the show a bunch of times now in the last couple months, because I'll put it on like First Take or something. I do shit around the house and look up, and instead of Noon Sports Center, it's Pat McAfee and them. You're like, oh, okay, good for them. And it mostly is kind of a boring show. But every Tuesday, you get the call from Aaron Rodgers, and he goes viral. Today's example, I think last week it was him calling Travis Kelce Mr. Pfizer, because Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's boyfriend, as is more commonly known. Travis Kelce, NFL player, he is in a commercial for Pfizer saying, hey, go get vaccinated.
Go get vaccinated, dog.
Aaron Rodgers takes a shot at him and says, calls him Mr. Pfizer. They asked Travis Kelce about it.
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, with the stash right now, I look like a guy named Mr. Pfizer. Who knew I'd get into the vax wars with Aaron Rodgers, man? It's Mr. Pfizer versus the Johnson & Johnson family over there, man.
The reason that's a funny call out, Aaron Rodgers plays for the New York Jets. The person that run the New York Jets are basically the Johnson & Johnson legacy money.
Oh,
so
okay.
He's like, you don't have a problem taking big pharma's money for your big ass paycheck, but you want to call me out for being in a commercial? Like, what the fuck are you even talking about, basically?
Right.
I don't think we asked you about, since you're in a commercial, can you kind of just say why you wanted to do that?
I mean, I've always been, once I got the vaccine, I got it because of, keeping myself safe, keeping my family safe, the people in this building. So yeah, I stand by it 1,000%, and fully comfortable with him calling me Mr. Pfizer.
Travis, anything?
And that's why Taylor Swift gave him the draws, y'all. Okay, because that's a confident man. I was like, if anything, Travis Kelce is more. It's probably more shocking to people to find out he has those politics and that consideration than anything else. Because as much as people have been, fans of his, we don't really know much about him and his politics
like a
and
blank slate.
Yeah. So, then here's the Pat McAfee show talking to Aaron Rodgers today.
I mean, listen, Mr. Pfizer said he didn't think he would be in a vax war with me.
Oh boy.
Didn't think he'd be in a vax war with me. This ain't a war, homie. This is just conversation. But if you want to have some sort of duel, debate, have me on the podcast. Come on the show. Let's have a conversation.
Oh,
Pass it out.
Let's do it like in John Wick 4, right? So we both have a second.
Nice.
Right? So somebody to help us out. I'm going to take my man, RFK Jr.
okay. Okay.
as an independent,
Hell yeah.
right? And he can have, Tony Fauci or some other pharmacrat. And we can have
Pharmacrat, which is funny thinking where Aaron Rodgers gets his check from. That's definitely political. It's on ESPN's airways, the We Don't Want No Politics on our sports. The show he's on, I will go into detail about Pat McAfee, but the show he's on is the supposed We Don't Do Politics show.
a conversation about this.
Okay. Well, I'm happy we got that sorted. Thought for sure you were going with Rogan, but obviously Dr. Joe Rogan, I apologize. But RFK Jr., not a bad get. He's been at the forefront of this conversation on the internet I have seen. Currently an independent. And could you imagine Fauci and Kelsey sitting down across from Aaron and RFK Jr.?
Appointment television.
I know you have that 500-page report already that kind of got forgotten about in the whole thing. Hey, Pat, why
That'd
didn't
be
you?
big rating.
What's that?
That'd be big ratings. Right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, and everybody would be really happy too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, what I mean,
No
that's
problems.
what those things really do bring. But you know what does bring me happiness? Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. It's great seeing you. Great chatting with you. Feels like you're in great spirits. J.K. Dobbins talking shit to you is good news, and we hope the rest of the day's fantastic, pal.
I'm gonna go beat his ass in rehab here for the next 3 hours.
That's what I'm talking about. And then get yourself ready for a debate about vaccines. Yeah, that'd be awesome, ladies and gentlemen. Aaron Rodgers.
So this is what I want to point out, because I've actually been watching the show to see, like, man, what is it that made them give this guy all this money to do the show? And if you notice, that's not just this clip. You can go back and look at any of these controversial Aaron Rodgers clips. Pat McAfee don't say shit. He's not really contributing to the conversation at all. He's just letting it happen and then being excited that it's happening in front of. It's like, yes, let's go.
I think that's how he has kind of always been.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's low key dangerous to platform anti-vax people, and that's why we don't do it on our show. We don't be like, let's invite some contrarians on. It's like, no, we're good. But the fact that this is happening on their ESPN's airwaves, that's what they want. People are definitely going to be talking about it. We're talking about it. Tomorrow, all the shows on their channel will be bringing it up. Hopefully, I honestly hope Kelsey and Fauci would not do some dangerous ass, like, let's share the stage with this motherfucker thing, especially with RFK Jr., who's a fucking kook. But what I find completely ironic that I just witnessed is the reason Pat McAfee and his show is supposed to be like this counterculture to ESPN is that they promote themselves as the no politics, no off the court, like, real opinions, no deep dive stuff. It's all just, hey, we're just talking football, or we're just talking sports. We're just some bros talking sports. And I honestly, as a joke said, the name of that show should be called "Did You See That Game Last Night?" Because that's really what the show feels like.
That's all they talk about.
It's like, you see that game last night, and it's just like, oh man, the Celtics, dude, that's crazy, right, bro? They got Jalen.
A lot of bros.
Let me tell you something, man. Jalen's one of those dudes. He's one of those dudes. And then, like,
let's bring on the bro. We bringing on Coach such as, hey Coach, how you doing?
Right. And then, like, 5 dudes in the background. They'll be like, he's one of those dudes, and then all the dudes are like, one of them dudes. Like, it's that type of like, brought to you by 5 Hour Energy level. It's that
Red Bull, yes.
And I, having seen the show a few times, I'm like, oh, it's a show that's ultimately about nothing, saying nothing, doing nothing, except when they have Aaron Rodgers on, which is why the show got bought, and they probably laid off and cut so much talent to afford this show. So many salaries gone, so many people off of ESPN. But it's why the show got bought. I wonder what the ratings look like. I'm sure we're gonna get that in a month or so. Somebody gonna be
looking. Trust,
because there's a lot of agendas. People want this to be successful. A lot of people don't. And I'm not even dissing the show. I know it sounds like I'm trying to shit on the show. I'm actually not. These are facts. This is what the show is. For a lot of you, this is the show you claim you want to see. Now, I know you're like, I don't want to see this guy talking. No. I mean, the number one complaint of sports fans, and I don't know that I believe these complaints. It's kind of like when dudes complain about big fake asses, and you look at their Instagram and what do they follow?
Big fake.
Who are their favorite reality TV stars? Right. It's
Instagram
like,
model.
What porn stars are they jacking out to?
Right.
Okay, but you hate fake asses. I feel like that's what sports fans, where they say they don't want the personality-driven debate style show. They don't want Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp. They don't want Skip Bayless. They just want like Sports Center basically. They just want what happened in the game and maybe like NFL Today style, like hardcore analysts breakdowns of things. They don't want that who's better, Steph Curry or LeBron for the 27th time. And I'm not even knocking them, but they say they don't want that. They don't want that. But ratings wise, I'm wondering if they watch the stuff they say they want.
Right.
Because I think it's one of those things. It's like when we lost Game Theory and people were like, this is such a smart show, man. And I just, with the fans, it's their problem. And I'm like, hey, it's like the beginning of fucking Mo Better Blues. The people want what they want. And if the people don't like what you doing, enough people ain't fucking with it. It's because you grandiose motherfuckers won't play the shit people want to hear. Right. And I wonder if Pat McAfee is what people supposed to want to hear. There's no real sports. There's no real there's no politics. There's no real agendas. There's no real racial talk. You're never gonna hear him talk about Black Lives Matter or Colin Kaepernick or any of that stuff. And I just wonder if that will translate to higher ratings or interest or something, because from what I've seen, the only time the most people I see talking about this show is when Aaron Rodgers says something that is definitely political.
Of course.
Because I think people be lying.
They do.
They do want that political shit. They do want the controversy. And the ratings don't lie. They want the Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp debates. They look at what y'all comment on. Look what you quote tweet. Look at the times that you have something to say. It ain't when they're saying, who do we think is going to win this weekend, Chicago or Baltimore? No.
I don't care nothing about
the shit that goes viral is when they start trolling the Cowboys and saying the hot takes like, Dak not even be in the league or some weird, some over-the-top inflammatory shit. And the difference between me and most of these motherfuckers is I'm not afraid to admit I do like that shit. I like the wrestling. I don't like the I'm smart. I can do some hardcore analyst type shit. I can go listen to smarter people if I want to.
Right. And a lot of times that shit is boring.
Yeah, and just, I'm not actually that intrigued by, he had this many 100-yard games. It's something I could look up on Google.
Watch the game myself.
Yeah, I actually do like, like when they throw in some, I just think this dude's sorry. It's funny to me.
Yeah, personalities.
Yeah, it's funny to me. Watching Stephen A. Smith fucking argue with somebody is funny to me. Shannon Sharp overdoing it, talking the 10 minutes they come on every episode and talk about each other's suits before they even fucking answer a question. Which is like, I see you, brother. You got the green on today. Okay, I had to go with the blue. I had to go with the blue. I didn't want to hurt him. Oh, don't hurt him now. Don't hurt him, Steve.
I see you over there. You decide to wear that ascot today. Right. I see your tie. You got that little ass tie. Why your tie so thick?
And Molly, let me say, you looking good today too. Okay, you got the black and the white on. You look like it's bullshit.
Yes, it is.
But I'm not even gonna sit up here and pretend to be better than that bullshit. And I'm, like I said, to me the Pat McAfee show is we're better than that bullshit crowd, and I wonder who's watching it. Because I think a lot of people that say they don't want that Stephen A. Smith shit, you can find a home on Pat McAfee, even if you black. They really don't talk about shit. Like, the odds of them saying something that's gonna offend you are pretty fucking low, because they just don't, like, race don't exist over there for the most part. Yeah. I think in the month or so I've seen episodes, and I don't watch it religiously, but the times that I've seen it or had it in the background, maybe one mention of race ever, it was a quick joke and they moved on. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what that ratings look like, but yeah, that Pat McAfee show, man. I've just been thinking about it a lot because he finessed the fuck out of a bag.
Yes, he did. He got to the money.
And I'm not even mad at him.
Me either. Not even hating.
I generally respect it. Like I know I'm supposed to be like, I hate this white guy getting his bag. I don't. He don't really. Only thing he did wrong is Aaron Rodgers is his friend, and I'd argue. Can you say it's wrong when it's the one thing that everyone talks about when he does it, and it's the one thing that goes viral, and the one reason they gave him that money? Fuck it. I guess have Aaron Rodgers on to get that bag. I wouldn't have done it.
At least it was.
But that's why I ain't never gonna be as big as him. You know.
Right.
But man, that just made me think about that. All right, let's get into some other stuff. I think that was that was some good banter, Karen. Okay, good job.
Yay!
Yeah, we brought the banter this week. They can't say nothing about. Oh, I know what I was gonna do.
What's that?
Did I play on here the Gustav rap thing?
I don't know.
For people,
don't matter. You can play it again.
So. Actually, no, because it's acapella and there's no beat, so y'all won't really be able to appreciate it. But I'll play a little bit of it so y'all can hear the voice I use. So for Drapetomaniax, this is the character that Ta-Nehisi Coates asked about. Also, the idea of doing it like a DMX style came from Nolika, I believe. At least she put the bug in my ear, and then I just rolled with it. Was like, fuck it. What if we make this for X-Slave sound like Gustav, sound like DMX? So here's what it sounds like. And y'all let me, go listen to the episode in context. I think it's called Diaspora Wars Part 2. If you really want to hear it with a beat. I had to record this a cappella. And then the production people put the beat to it. And I recorded
great job
listening to a beat, but it's so hard, the job that has to be done to make this work. Oh. Okay, so I guess this one does have a beat on it. The difference is they gave me a DMX beat, but I had to re-record it a cappella. But it's probably easier for y'all to hear it over DMX because at least y'all can hear like what it's supposed to sound like.
Right.
Okay. It was January 8th in the middle of the night. If a dog don't eat, then a dog gon' bite. Charles looked at all of us and said it's time to ride. That's why Master never seen me coming up from the side. See, we was prepared for a front of attack. He wasn't ready for me. Put the axe to his back. Let's get it understood. I chopped him up like wood. And after that, we escaped and met up in the hood. So I'll just play that little
that shit was great.
I was in here acting by myself. I think Kara was getting her hair done, or she was asleep in the other side of the house.
I had left because you was like, I didn't even want you to be here.
Yeah. First of all, Karen's way too loose on the mic and stuff when I'm recording stuff. She laughs and enjoys it like people can't hear that she's laughing. So I can't have that happening while I'm recording something that, professionally needs to go out with clean audio. But yeah, it's just.
I'm your in-studio live audience.
Yeah, she, even today, I was recording a movie review and then she got up to leave and is just banging around a bunch of stuff, clanging the keyboard.
My bad.
Oh, what? Ears? Oh my God. Recording equipment.
I thought I was being
You're only a
sorry.
professional. You're only a professional. You've only been doing this job forever. You know it picks up everything. But the point being, so I have to do something like this without her there. Plus, I needed to get in like a mode to do it. But okay, let's get into some other news. We still don't have segment music for this, but I'm going to try to keep this segment going as long as I can. Today's Gender Wars. And it's kind of related.
I don't think you ever run out of stuff because they always, them niggas like to fight.
Listen, this one was so bad today.
Oh, shit.
Because I have a thread. And every day I add to the thread. The point of the thread and the context of the thread is to point out to everybody that every motherfucking day Black people on Twitter argue about something about men versus women. The point isn't to side with any of the people. It's not to mock any of the people. I don't leave comments about the actual people in the clips. It's just like, hey, here's today's Gender Wars main character. Argue amongst yourselves, right? And of course, today is I've only been doing it for like a week or so, but I could have been doing it for a long time longer. And today I actually deleted my tweet.
What happened?
Because this is how controversial it is. Kind of related to Travis Kelce. Kayla Nicole, who I love, you know, I'm a much bigger fan of Kayla Nicole than pretty much all y'all. We've been talking about her on Ball Z Sports for years at this point. Most of y'all know her as Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend, but you know, she's also like this beautiful Fenty model, businesswoman. She has her own podcast and stuff. But she is obviously now his ex. Travis Kelce is with Taylor Swift now. And this is maybe because it's fresh, maybe because it's a little bit of hit dogs hollering, you know, but whatever. And also because it's just misogynoir. There's like a clip of her talking about not feeling protected as a Black woman in this moment where, because her ex is dating Taylor Swift, you got these white publications who've never really don't even really know much about her.
Right. They've been dating for years.
Yes. And they're like coming at her and
all crazy and shit.
Right. It's almost like the Meghan Markle effect where I was already kind of on her side no matter what. I just think she seemed like a cool person. But now it's at that point where it's, what is the other side to hating Kayla Nicole? She doesn't really seem to do anything. I've never seen her talk bad about Black men or anything like that. So I'm not really, you know, I don't really get the point of disliking her.
Right.
But she put out a open letter.
Hey guys, Kayla here. It's always been really important for me to use my platform not to create division, but to elevate and unite women, Black women specifically. So I prepared a letter and would like to share it with you today. Dear Black girl, they may call you a traitor for falling in love. You'll hope the ones closest will protect you, but you will quickly find out that people don't protect what they don't value. They'll say you're too much, too provocative, too boisterous, too outspoken, and in the same breath tell you that you're not enough, not successful enough, not wholesome enough, maybe not even intelligent enough. They'll say you deserve the backlash and embarrassment. Because of your Blackness, you should have known better. They'll even try to tie your value to your net worth. But Black girl, please remember your value lies elsewhere. Your value is deep within your heart, the way you love, the way you give. Your value is in your resilience, your willingness to forgive. The way you protect what means most to you, even if it hurts you along the way. And the way you stand up for what means most to you, even though they may not ever do the same. But Black girl, respectfully, let me stop you there because you don't have to participate in this tumultuous, often one-sided journey. Preserve your heart. Even when they try to quantify your character and test your boundaries, you do not have to engage. You do not have to respond because there is power in your silence. And you can use that same power to silence the noise and the self-doubt. Silence the voices within that want you to give in to this demoralizing and antiquated narrative. Tap into that power. Because I know, girl, the rage of the world is loud. But Black girl, your God is louder, and your tribe is stronger. Your blood runs deeper and is filled with strength, and when you finally find the strength to speak your truth, it is your voice that will help heal. Because Black girl, let me tell you, you're not in this alone. And even though sometimes I too ask, why me? I'm reminded that this isn't just about me. This isn't just my story, a singular experience. My truth, trauma, and vulnerability is a relatable part of the human experience. I know I'm not alone, and I want to make sure that you know you aren't either. On days where I feel most inadequate, I have to remind myself that I am, have been, and will always be more than enough. Look, we love, we hurt, we heal, but always remember that your story is yours to tell. and you never know whose life it may touch because there is so much power in community and connection. So, dear Black girl, when the world gets dark and times get hard, when you feel like your back is against the wall and your hands are tied like nobody knows or understands what it takes to be you, remember that you are a part of something way bigger. This is only a small chapter in your story. And if you need help, there are resources like therapy, prayer, and community to help you make it through. But most importantly, I want you to remember that you are loved, you are valued, you are allowed to take up space, you deserve protection, and your feelings, they matter too. Solely because you're a Black girl. Sincerely, a Black girl.
So that video, I think it's kind of sweet. I think what's interesting is all I did was quote tweet the video and be like, here go the main character. And there were people like one woman was like, this comes off like you're bullying. I was like, bullying? No. Y'all look in the quote tweets. They are arguing about this shit. Men are mad. There are women on her side, women against her side, which the fuck is against her side? That's weird. But but the point being, like, it is the main character. I'm just calling it like traffic. I'm just calling it like the weather. I'm not saying shouldn't be the main character. Yesterday was Mr. Preacher Man and his motherfucking sermon. Today is Kayla Nicole giving an affirming discussion. Now, the open letter. Now the thing is, it's a lot of this is happening because it's Taylor Swift. And you got white people that ain't never been paying attention. And there's some mean, evil ass white women out there that definitely the half the reason I'm never gonna really talk shit about Meghan Markle is because I've seen the way racist white people talk about her, and I think it's fucked up.
Yes.
And I get that not every white person that don't like it is racist, blah, blah. I get that, whatever. I'm not giving out any fucking passes. It's just like, yeah, I won't be participating. I get it. Yo, it's so annoying. It's the worst thing in the world. Not like the whole fucking first family is annoying, but or whatever they call those people over there, royal family. But like the thing for Kayla Nicole is also she's catching it from black people who don't like that she was involved with a white man,
right?
Which is some like 1905 shit. Like, it's crazy people still doing this, and we definitely don't keep the same energy on our quote unquote side.
No,
by which I mean plenty of black men don't have any problem with other black men dating interracially. They don't call them out. They ain't got nothing to say about them when shit don't go right.
Your dick is free to do whatever it wants to do, but
many
that
of,
dick better stay with blackness.
Many of them were on Kanye West's side when he was having a manic episode and Kim Kardashian was like, no, you can't just have the kids unsupervised.
Correct.
You need to get back on your meds. And they were like, listen, she's trying to keep a black man from his family. Like, that's how bad it is. A minute before that, they were calling him a coon because he was saying neo-Nazi shit and slavery was a choice and a bunch of anti-black shit. They were completely ready to throw him in the trash. The second it became a black man thing, it became hold up, he's on our side, right?
Yeah, because they be all over the place when it comes, to this. Oh, and I think I misphrased it. Like I said, when it comes to just men in period, you can fuck whoever you want to fuck, but when it comes to black women, it's blackness first. When it comes to black men, I'm a man first.
Well, I'm not done yet. Like, I'm just talking about the men right now, because it's actually equal and opposite, I think, in other cases. Because then there's black women that will go up for like a Meghan Markle, but Lawrence from fucking Insecure, they always talking shit. He can't even keep the comments on his fucking wedding on Instagram.
Nope.
This ain't about one side being better or worse. Gender wars. Motherfuckers are fighting a fucking gender war every goddamn day based on these people we don't even fucking know. And I could see if it was people who say shit. Like, if you had some clip of Kayla Nicole being like, I don't date black men because black men ain't shit. They dog you out. And then she gets dogged out by this nigga. And it's like, okay, I get it. I'm not going to act like everyone needs to be super mature about that.
But
that's not what's happening.
She don't bother anybody.
And you go in the comments and it's fucking trash.
It's probably lit. Yeah.
It's trash, Yeah,
like you said. And on top of that, you do have people across the board that have hang-ups about interracial dating. You have people that have, hang-ups about the opposite sex, and like it's like a whirlpool of all this shit coming all at once, and it boils down to what we talked about on Sunday. Everything boils down to attention. Everything boils down to an event happens, which is her posting this video, and then everybody comes for the attention.
And all you've done is prove her right.
Yes, you did.
Because when you look at those fucking quote tweets and the comments and the jokes and the shit people have about her, all you're doing is proving that she needs this affirmation, that Black women need to hear this from somebody, even if it's yourself. That, hey, I'm enough. I'm not too much. I didn't betray anybody.
Right.
Like that kind of shit. And it's honestly disgusting. I was so mad today. I without really thinking about it, I was thinking like, is this just a us thing? Like, is it just Black people engaging in this shit every day? Like, and I'm not just talking about white people. I mean, like, is there some version of this for like Latino people going through? Is there some version of this for Asian people or Indian people going through this? I mean, I might not just be plugged into those spaces, but like, are we allowing this type of misogyny and content in all races to do this? Or is this just a Black women thing? Because I know intimately Black people, and so that's what I see. I could just be not in those spaces, so I don't know. And I feel a level of protectiveness over, Black people, especially like Black women going through this when they haven't done anything. People hate Malika Andrews, and they're like, because she got a white man and she must hate brothers or whatever. And I don't agree. I think she's doing her job, but it's the vitriol of it. It's the pile-on that I'm always pushing against in my mind of like, is this real, or is this just a bunch of people say where there's smoke, there's fire, and a bunch of people say something negative about somebody, and then eventually you just go, well, that's the new truth. Because I know, we had the episode where we were talking about Drake for a little bit, and I'm like, okay, is this pedophile thing real? Is this just like we're gonna take a joke and just start treating it like it's real,
right? And
it becomes real because we're all doing this. Chris Pratt, someone put up that meme, the worst Chris, and by the end of it, he's Satan. And it's like, okay, I went to investigate to see what y'all talking about, and it seems that some of the things y'all are saying aren't true. So now, am I supposed to just go along with the mob every time and just believe y'all, or should I look it up every time because y'all just be saying anything? And I think a lot of times with like a Meghan Markle, with Kayla Nicole in this case, with Malika Andrews, like there's this whole like Black woman dating a white man or a man that's not Black. Here come the fucking mean, evil ass Black men that justify the vitriol that comes back at us. And it's like each side is not calling out that shit. They're just calling out the other side.
Right, because hurt people. So everybody just come out with their knives and just start stabbing each other off of some shit that has nothing to do with the event that happened in hand.
And I don't think it's a Black thing only. I was just that mad today about this whole stupid shit. Because I was like, this is so dumb. Like, and like I was talking to somebody and I said, man, look, basically like our girl Kayla Nicole, she down bad. And they were like, well, I don't think she's down bad, And it turns out that apparently there's two definitions of down bad, because to me, like when people were saying like Michael B. Jordan was down bad over Lori Harvey, I just thought they meant he was going through a tough time.
Right.
But I guess down bad now means some other shit about like you're, I don't even truly, to be honest, understand what this definition means, but so like you're so hung up on your ex or something. But I don't know what was derogatory about being down bad. Like being down, like this person is a loser and they're doing loser shit. And I guess that must be like the new down bad or something, because it was not always that. It was you going through it, from my understanding.
Right.
So, and also I wouldn't have said that about her in that way. But I'm like, she going through a hard time. But it made me think about the Michael B. Jordan thing, because when Lori Harvey broke up with him and he was at the game looking sad in the front row, and even like a week ago, and there was a Steve Harvey like hugged him at a basketball game overseas, and people was like, you could tell that he's like, I'm sorry that my daughter did you like that. It's like jokes.
Yes, jokes.
But I always thought the down bad shit was like just, oh man, we've all been there, kind of sad for Michael B. Jordan.
Right.
Kind of funny because we've all been there. It's relatable, but sad. But if you reframe it the way that, I was told it means, so motherfuckers thought they were like mocking him. Like they thought it was a malicious thing. It wasn't a, oh man, that's sad. Kind of like it was a, what a loser thing. And the person was like, yeah, because they were like, oh, Lori Harvey played him and was got some PR out of it, but she was never intending to like be with him, even though this nigga was talking about marriage and kids and all this shit. Ha ha. And I just like, what's wrong with us?
I don't know. I hate to be, that's just stupid. That don't make sense.
Yeah, and this also, this is why I say the gender war shit. I don't really have a side. I think it's this whole like our team versus their team to me is dumb.
Right.
Because I think even if you're a black woman celebrating that's kind of fucked up too.
It is.
Like,
we all go through shit. Everybody, people have been broken up with, had a hard time, dealing with the breakup, whatever the case may be.
And it's not making nothing even.
Right. And how does it make you a loser for being broke up with?
Yeah.
And actually feeling sad. So
right.
What am I supposed to, somebody break up with me? I'm supposed to fucking just not exist and don't tell nobody and keep it to myself and just be like, well, fuck it.
I think it's very much like a scoreboard. We got one. Black man's miserable.
Yeah,
our side is winning today.
People are crazy.
But I really had never thought about it in that context before. And it just, I don't know, it just felt wild. But like I said, weird. Down bad to me, I've never thought of it in that way of what a loser. I would call a person a loser. I call him a herb. I call him a bunch of shit about that. Like if, Drake talking about Rihanna, I haven't heard anybody say he's down bad. We like, what a fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
No, like I haven't seen people associate the term, but maybe I'm just missed out on it or whatever. But the point being, like, my heart goes out to people because we all experience loss and pain and shit.
Yeah, we just don't happen to experience on such a large ass platform. It's something that everybody deals with at some point in their lives.
Yeah. So anyway, it made me think about that. And other, just us randomly talking news. I like to call this segment, Girl.
What happened, girl?
Girl.
Oh shit.
Aquaman 2. It's been flooded with drama.
Oh shit! What done happened on the Aquaman 2? Because the thing about it, y'all know me and Roger follow this shit, and even before, the dude that plays Mantis, he was kind of saying stuff about being about after it was done, about his experience on the set. You had that stuff with what's her name, Johnny Depp girlfriend, Amber Heard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had things coming out about her. So it's like the shit was just slowly kind of just leaking off of the set.
So the latest is Variety did like a deep dive on their website. Aquaman 2 flooded with drama. Jason Momoa allegedly drunk on set. Amber Heard scenes cut. Elon Musk letter to WB and more.
Holy shit! What is happening?
Here's number one. This movie must fucking suck.
Oh, that movie was gonna be terrible.
This movie must fucking suck because why are they getting ahead of it like this? The movie's not out yet. I don't even think you can buy tickets.
You can't. I don't come out to like around Christmas, right?
You can buy tickets to the Marvels right now. You can't get tickets to Aquaman. When shit like this starts leaking, it's like people are abandoning ship. No pun intended.
Yes, they are. But before it come out, so they can be like, well, we told y'all this is the reason why it flopped, basically.
And it's happening faster because WB movies, these DC movies, they normally come out like they get ridiculous praise that is like that make you sit at home like, how can that be true? You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be like, Flash is the reason movies are made, says Tom Cruise, and you're like, what the fuck? Flash is that good? And then you go see it and you're like, oh, they lied. And that's when after that weekend when they don't make the box office they thought, Monday morning all of a sudden the pieces start coming out. Sometimes Sunday night, and it's like Ezra Miller was a menace on the set of the thing. You're like, oh, wait, the director says it was never meant to be a movie, that kind of shit. And so
It was meant to be a mini series. What? How did this happen?
And so suddenly, this is the first time I've ever seen them come out before the movie drops, being here's the problem.
This movie's gonna be bad.
And I know part of this is because, they cut a lot of Amber Heard stuff. I mentioned this when we talked to Medium
you were
Popcorn.
talking about how the trailer was cut.
Yeah. We talked to Medium Popcorn. I said, man, it just seemed like she was a huge part of the first movie. Suddenly she's not in the second one. And it's hard for me to believe it has nothing to do with the Johnny Depp trial and the negative publicity from that. Even if you're on her side, there's still confirmed shit she said and did that are negative publicity that you probably don't want her doing like a press tour talking about.
Right. Because the writer's strike and all that stuff is probably one reason why they haven't been doing the press tour. But it would be shocking if they did a press tour prior to the movie coming out with all this news you getting ready.
Well, you can't with SAG you can't do it with SAG.
Oh, that's right.
Strike.
They're still on strike.
But that doesn't stop the internet. So on the same day that they dropped their trailer for their $215 million budget Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom, embarrassing documents from the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation trial surfaced on Reddit. Depp fans paid the court fees for the release of documents from her therapist, Dr. Don Hughes.
They paid the court fees.
These Depp fans, this is insane what they do. And keep in mind, they have done this before and gotten documents that kind of confirmed that some stuff with Johnny Depp was true about him like kicking Amber Heard and being physically violent after they, these fucking sycophants had been online harassing her and saying she was a liar the whole time.
Right.
But I guess that didn't stop them from paying for more documents. Also, you can get someone's therapist documents. That's like admissible in court. That's wild to me. I didn't even know that was possible.
I don't know if it's because it was evident. So
yeah, but still,
you should be able to pay to get that information.
What about like client privilege?
Right.
I don't know. It just seems interesting. I didn't know it was a thing. The raw notes scribbled on a legal pad were part of last year's high-profile trial in which Depp largely prevailed. They described a hostile Aquaman set where an allegedly intoxicated Jason Momoa dressed like Johnny Depp and pushed to have her booted from the role of Mera, the aquatic superhero. Here's the thing about that. I'm not trying to be a dick. Honest to God, I'm not. But don't Jason Momoa always dress like Johnny Depp?
Just now.
That's like, have y'all seen how he
dresses? Right.
He dressed kind of like Johnny Depp. He don't look like Johnny Depp.
But in that leather.
But that whole 12 buttons, unbuttoned, bunch of rings and jewelry. That's his look.
Mm-hmm. That's how he look.
So in the notes, it says, Jason said he wanted me fired. Jason drunk, late on set, dressing like Johnny, has all the rings too. And I'm like, Jason Momoa, so he looked like he looked in the Fast X movie.
Come on!
That's kind of how Jason Momoa looks. But okay, if you're going through something and these are your private therapist notes, maybe you never thought, maybe this wasn't supposed to make the light of day. Heard declined to comment, but a source close to the actress confirmed the notes refer to Aquaman 2 set and reflect the session for December 27, 2021. Another source close to the actress says her lawyers fought the release of the therapy notes, which had been subpoenaed by Depp's attorney during discovery. So I don't think she's trying to tank the film, but this is just WB. I feel like they're always in crisis mode. Like they're never in promotion mode, really. It's always like, how do we respond to this crisis at all times?
Yeah, it's like y'all never think y'all actually need somebody that actually does research. But like, hey, I wouldn't do this. Like, hey, you might want to wrap this. It's like everybody just like, do what you want to. Oh shit, it's a fire.
Also, like, we don't know if like why she's saying he wanted her fired. If that's if that's even like the truth of what happened.
Right.
But she also said the director, James Wan, treated her like a pariah because of her high profile battle with her ex-husband. He raised his voice at me. I can't even post about Aquaman, made it like it was my fault, said, I'm sorry. Nobody could take selfies with me on the set giving blackout. So basically, because she was going through this high profile thing with Johnny Depp, they can't really do public relations and PR and like, hey, let's take a picture with her on the set, because they know they're gonna get bombed in the comments and all that stuff.
They don't want to deal with that.
And she was nearly fired. Sources on both sides tell Variety following Aquaman's release in 2018. The studio and Wan decided to drop the actress from the sequel due to her lack of chemistry with Momoa and sent a letter to her attorney, Carl Austin, informing him of his decision. Those sources underscored that the move to bounce her was unrelated to Depp and took place before he filed the lawsuit with against the actress in 2019. So they want to say like this is not about that shit. This is about just we actually think she didn't do a good job in the thing. I don't even know if that's really true though, because just because he hadn't filed that lawsuit yet does not mean there weren't whispers, rumors, and buzz that this was coming down the pipe.
And y'all may have wanted to get ahead of it.
Yeah, so I don't, you know what I mean? What would they say? Yeah, we heard and we just didn't feel like dealing with it. Momoa was not involved in that decision. But another source pushed back at the lack of chemistry narrative, noting Heard did a chemistry test with Momoa before landing the role of Mera and beat out 2 other actresses who did a similar chemistry test, including Abby Lee. Now, why is she in it?
Right? She was like, now why am I in it? Now they know I didn't get the job.
But here's what's wild. The reason they never fired her is because her former boyfriend, Elon Musk, had one of his lawyers send a scorched earth letter to Warner Bros., threatening to burn the house down if the actress wasn't brought back for a sequel. If that's true, that is wild.
What does he got on them?
That they reverse course. That like because Elon Musk was mad. That's wild as fuck. But he, at least at that time, he probably did carry a level of respect that he's lost because of Twitter and shit.
Right.
So in 2018, they probably like, this billionaire motherfucker, he's a genius. Just do what he says. So now,
that's the only company could have pulled that on. Anybody else would have been like, if you don't get the fuck out of here, nobody give a fuck about that.
Right. Here's what's wild to me too, though, Karen. In addition to their lack of a plan, this whole thing where this movie's coming out and it's not, what is it really part of? It's not really part of James Gunn's new plan.
Because the Flashpoint already happened.
And it's not part of James Gunn's new plan going forward with his Superman, whatever, right? They say they want to keep Momoa around as an actor, but I'll get to that in a second. But so this movie's not part of his plans or his universe, right? It's also not part of Zack Snyder's universe, really, because Zack Snyder's done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a movie sitting on an island with no real connection to anything except the movie that came before. But the movie that came before had Amber Heard in it as Mera in huge amounts. Sounds like she's barely in this new shit. And the Jason Momoa thing that leaked today is James Gunn is considering him to play a different role, not Aquaman going forward.
Just a complete
Lobo, the bounty hunter, the space bounty hunter that rides a motorcycle. The main man talks like a wrestler, which he would be great at, but it's super confusing.
Yeah, to people on the outside and for people like me going, whoo?
The suit is gonna be, well, how you mean who? You don't know who? You know Lobo. We watched so many cartoons with Lobo in it. He rides a motorcycle. He's like a rock and roll
with
wrestler
chains.
dude. Yes.
Okay. Yes. My bad. Yes.
But for casual people,
yeah,
that's gonna be fucking crazy.
They're gonna be like, ain't he the dude that was underneath the sea?
Yeah, like
and right, and then I was excited. Then you got to listen to Hot Five Star talk about this shit. Don't make no sense.
Right, they're gonna do 30 minutes every episode.
Yes, they are.
Where this time K-Back can get some get back because I'm sure that Tone will know because Tone is a big DC animation nerd.
Correct.
And then finally, K-Back can do like his version of the Who's on First for Star Wars.
Yes.
But this is what Lobo looks like.
Yes,
so.
I remember. Okay, I get it now. Okay, yes.
And he will be great at doing it, but that's stupid to do that now.
Just cast somebody else.
This is so wild. I can't believe this is happening, but I can because it's DC. I knew they would fuck it up somehow, but this is a new way of fucking it up. And also it is weird that they were gonna like back off of Amber Heard when I know it's not the same movie, same director, but these motherfuckers rolled with Ezra Miller through everything Ezra Miller did.
And it makes no sense. They
Like,
was out here fucking up bad.
Ezra Miller was doing crimes,
Real crimes.
like criminal crimes. And they were-
showing up on set filming and they like it do 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 do. The director coming out talking about this is the best thing ever. Sorry, they deserve all the awards, and you're like, but nigga, hadn't y'all been paying attention?
I don't know. Like, wow, we just were talking about y'all, and y'all have fucked it up again. So, I had to talk about that because it was just so
That
ridiculous
is crazy.
to me. Yeah. Was there anything else I felt like talking about with in this section? No, not really. No. I'm good. All right, let's move on. Oh wait, no, one more thing. Cornel West leaves the Green Party and he's now gonna run as an independent.
Child, if you don't get out of here, nothing but a grift.
This man is leaving parties behind like child support. Okay?
Oh no!
It's sad to see a man going out like this. Pick a party. You're gonna lose.
You gonna lose.
You're gonna get 12 votes. Are you even gonna be qualified to participate in any debate?
Nope.
Like, what? He gonna be dating?
Not gonna be on nobody's ballot.
He gonna be debating RFK Jr. or whatever? Like, I don't get it. But yeah, I'm running as an independent candidate for president of the United States to end the iron grip of the ruling class and ensure true democracy. He wrote on social media, Twitter. People are hungry for change. They want good politics over partisan politics. We need to break the grip of the duopoly and give power to the people.
Y'all get the fuck out of here. Because like I said before, I would say it again. Okay, you want a third party? Do the work. Do the work. What are y'all doing in the off-cycle years? Where is y'all in anybody's city council? If y'all dog catch it, is y'all like do something? Don't be popping up, when it's time to election and go, well, bitch, you ain't done no work.
You're not gonna win,
right?
You wasting all our time. What are you talking about? Stop it. Stop it. Get some help. Like, come on, man. We need the Wachowski siblings come out with another Matrix, put him and Roy Jones Jr. in it, so we can just get back to doing what they want to do. Okay, this is the worst way to get cameras in your face, is wasting everybody's time in the election. Election, you can't win. You can't beat Biden or Trump.
Neither one of them.
What are you here for? Stop.
Why are you in the room?
My goodness, and then you switching parties every 3 weeks. Like, come on now. That shit is not what serious candidates do.
It is not.
All right. Let's move into another section. Let's do some guess the race. All right. There we go.
What time is it?
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
All right, time for guess the race. You know what's about to happen next. I'm gonna read some articles. Karen's gonna guess the race of people involved. Chat room's gonna play along, and everyone playing is racist. All right, let's go. Online personality Boopac Shakur, known for exposing alleged sexual predators, shot and killed in Michigan.
Oh, who?
A Michigan man who claimed to expose alleged child predators online for his thousands of social media followers was shot and killed after confronting two teenagers late Friday night. Robert Wayne Lee, 40, would pose as a 15-year-old girl online to lure out expose suspected pedophiles. He published
trying to be like our boy. You can't be like our boy,
Chris Hansen.
Yeah,
well, he has a whole camera crew, a legal department, police.
That dude was the king of it.
He published videos of his exploits to over 11,000 followers on Facebook and 45,000 followers on Instagram. Some of those videos appear to show him engaging in violent confrontation with alleged predators. He confronted two teenagers Friday night, a 17 and 18-year-old, at a restaurant in Pontiac. First of all, not that it's quote-unquote okay, but it is skirting the line when it's like a 17-year-old trying to holler at a 15-year-old. That's like, was he running out of people to beat up? Because that, I don't even know if that's illegal depending on the state,
Depending on the state.
He accused one of them of being a pedophile and punched him. Now, I wonder if that's just, at this point, you just need the content. You know, I haven't made a video in a
So
while.
he just be walking up with people fighting them?
Yeah, because he's like, you a pedophile.
Oh, well then, yeah, you need your ass whooped.
The
Leave
team.
people alone. If you're not going to, have police and do it the right way, you can't be just walking up on people starting fights.
I mean, I respect their energy. Because what if this is like, the next R. Kelly and he stopped them? But apparently that's not what happened. The team who was punched pulled out a knife. The suspected to be the 17-year-old, shot Lee several times with a pistol. He was taken to the hospital. He later died of his injuries. The suspects fled but were arrested Saturday afternoon. The sheriff's office did not release their names, although Lee's one-man crusade has led to the arrest and criminal charges being filed against several men. So he's not always wrong. And it seems like, he's done enough to get some people arrested that are possible pedophiles. The police said he has also mistakenly identified someone as a sexual predator who was not.
I can see that too, because you're not doing any investigation.
Or maybe he's doing investigation. That's not true, but you might not know the laws.
Correct.
You might get it wrong if it's just you. It's not a sophisticated, organization. And even with Chris Hansen and shit, they had a legal team. And that shit eventually got taken off the air because somebody did end up dying based on the embarrassment and being arrested and all that shit. And I think they lost that lawsuit. So this shit is just because Chris Hansen was doing it don't even mean that it was easy to do. While we certainly understand the desire to hold child predators accountable, many times well-intentioned individuals who engage in this don't know the standard of evidence required for convictions and often underestimate the potential for violence confronting a suspected predator, says Sheriff Michael Bouchard. Or Bouchard, maybe. Detectives were expected to turn the case over to prosecutors for charges by Monday. In at least one case, his endeavors led to a former police officer facing charges. A GoFundMe described him as a true hometown hero who was survived by a daughter. The money will go towards his funeral and his daughter to provide her with opportunities and education that Robert dreamt of for her. Man, sad, because it seemed like, even if he was doing it for clout and content or whatever, I mean, not too many people gonna feel sorry for these fucking pedophiles he was busting. But also, sad because it's kind of predictable something's gonna happen to you because you weren't necessarily taking certain steps. So guess the race, Karen, of Mr. Robert Wayne Lee, aka Boopac Shakur.
Black.
Karen's going with black. Bootleg Chris Hansen, black. Citizens arrest gone wrong, white. Black. This is some Saint Canard, be real vigilante shit. The white basement ranger that catfishes by night. The correct answer is Karen. He was black. Don't get it wrong.
And you see, you should have known by the name. Now, if you said Casper, I'd have went white.
Casper instead of Boopac Shakur. I hear you. That's good. That's funny. I didn't even pick up on the ghost joke. Yeah, I mean, that's a wild story in so many ways. That he was just out here doing that he successfully got anyone arrested.
Right.
That he accused somebody falsely or that, got it wrong one time. I mean, there's a lot going on here, and also that I never heard of this guy. You think that would be the kind of content that be shared everywhere, but it must have just been some real hood shit because I'd never heard of that,
Nope.
Rest in peace, though. It seemed like he was trying to do some good work. A Trump superfan was busted for allegedly forging his dead father's name on a 2020 election mail-in ballot. He's a convicted felon who was sentenced to 12 years in prison for financial fraud in order to pay $22 million in restitution, an amount he recently challenged via a bizarre pro se motion in which he requests to identify as Hunter Biden in all future court proceedings. Robert Riverniter. Robert Rivernigger. Karen, see, you just had to do it. It was implied. Robert Riverniter 58 was charged last week with fraud and forgery for allegedly signing his father's name to the ballot, which was postmarked days after the older man's October 2020 death, which was due to COVID-19. Oh my God. Reads like a fucking mad lib of like MAGA, like just a MAGA lib. It just reads like a mad lib of MAGA. As detailed in a criminal complaint filed in Sumter County, Florida. Oh my God, it is. Based on the comparison of signatures for Rivernider and his father, there appear to be similarities between the signatures in the 2020 election. I guarantee you this person thinks Trump had the election stolen from him.
Of course.
Even though they tried, they literally placed an illegal vote. They're like, Trump won fair and square. That matched his signature, but not prior versions of his father's signature. He moved into his father's home and after his May 2020 release from federal lockup. In December 2013, he was sentenced to 12 years in prison after pleading guilty to an investment scheme that defrauded victims into purchasing real estate investment properties based on material misrepresentations, concealed facts, and material omissions. He was convicted in the District of Connecticut, where the U.S. Attorney's Office was at the time of the plea. A judge granted early release after he filed a compassionate release motion, citing his heart ailments and rampant COVID-19 spread in federal prison system. Additionally, he noted that his elderly father had been left alone following the death of his mom. So he used all the sympathy to get out of prison, and then immediately, as soon as his dad died, filled out a ballot for Trump, and he's going back. All right, so Karen, guess the race.
Oh, this is white, and also 100 fuck with black people because you doing all the shit that you claim that everybody else is doing.
Okay. How'd you get to the black people part of that? How'd you get to the black people? You said fucking with black people.
Oh, fucking with black people. Because basically, dog, you convicted felon, you doing voter fraud, like all the shit that the Republicans claim that we do, you actually got caught, and still trying to fight the system up for some fuck shit. So I'm sorry, I got 100 for that because I am fuck with.
Okay, I just wanted you to spell out the logic for everybody. I understood the whole time. Investment schemes for sure, white, dumb and white. Do as I say, not as I do, white. Whiter than a banana republic in the 1990 suburbs at the Good Mall. The correct
At the Good Mall?
That's pretty white. The correct answer is, only thing whiter than that is Abercrombie & Fitch. The correct answer is white. And that's him.
Oh, yeah.
Born to Ride on his t-shirt.
Child, yeah, that hairline look like the McDonald's logo.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It does.
I'm still in it. The election. Man, it's so wild how they always do all the shit that they accuse Democrats of doing. It's so fucking sad.
Because the more you talk, the higher the score went in my bed.
It'd be infuriating. It'd be funny. It'd be sad if it wasn't so predictable. All right. Time to go to the bonus round. Karen, you are 2 for 2 right now.
Yay!
That bitch was white. I ain't racist. How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I?
Call them niggas. Just call them niggas.
It's time to get
Gold
the race.
teeth, gold chain wearing,
time
fried
to get the
chicken
race.
and biscuit
It's
eating,
time
monkey,
to get
pig,
the race.
baboon, big
It's
dive,
time
fast
to
running,
get the
high
race.
jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree basketball.
A woman drove with her hubby atop the hood of the car hood, I guess.
What?
With her husband clinging to the hood of her car, a Missouri woman drove more than 7 miles through a construction zone and across an interstate before pulling over while being chased by the police. Now look, this sounds terrible. Sounds terrible and abusive, but I'd be lying if I didn't think a little bit like, wonder what he did.
What did he do?
Now look, maybe he did nothing and I shouldn't be saying that because who knows, but I thought it. Investigators say that Stephanie Boyd, 38, and her 31-year-old spouse,
I see you, cougar,
got into a verbal argument that turned physical while inside their home on Thursday. She then got into the couple's auto to leave while the victim was on the hood of the vehicle. The man apparently thought she would not drive away if he was splayed atop her car. Well, he thought wrong.
She was like, bitch, you thought.
7 miles later with the police after him, he was like, I guess I was wrong.
Hold on for his dear life.
Boyd left the residence with the victim still on the hood of the vehicle. Traveling recklessly at different speeds. She made her way to Interstate 70, which she sped on for 4.6 miles before exiting near St. Louis Lambert International Airport. She then continued driving on local roadways. At one point, a police officer gave chase after she drove past him with her spouse on the car. While the pursuing squad...
Could you imagine you just sitting there going, boop, okay, you feed him, boop, boop, boop.
Right.
What's happening? I guess the person with no seatbelt gonna have to go on the back fender today.
Right. I'll have to let somebody go.
Right.
At one point, the officer gave chase after she drove past the dock with the pursuing squad car's lights flashing. She drove an additional half a mile before pulling over.
What?
Boyd was arrested and charged with domestic assault for attempting to cause serious physical injury to her husband while he was atop the car hood. She was also charged with resisting arrest for allegedly fleeing from the officer in such a manner that created a substantial risk and serious physical injury or death to the victim. A judge set the bond at $100,000 cash. She was deemed a danger to the crime victim, the community, or another person. The police report notes that she has active warrants in 2 other Missouri jurisdictions, and she has previous arrests for domestic assault.
God damn.
Yeah, I mean, who knows the specifics of this one fight, but I mean, sound like this how she do.
This how she get down.
Yeah, so I mean, guess the race.
What's the name?
Her name is Stephanie Boyd.
Black.
Karen's going black for this one. See, she was just trying to remove herself from a heated situation. That's not a race. Olympic Hood Games, and she got the gold. Nigga black. Menace to Society black. Black Penelope pit stop on the Parkway with the Porsche with the 6-figure bond out paper. Hood ornament black. Black. The correct answer is everybody who said black.
Mm-hmm.
You got it right. You have to ask, how were y'all so sure she was a black woman? What was it that gave it away?
Oh, the last name. I don't know any white boys.
Huh. Feel like there has to be a lot of white boys, but I don't know. I mean, y'all got it right. So, I mean, listen, you can either be racist or you can get it wrong. It's up to you. But and she got that face like that's the face she was making the whole drive.
Child, she did that shit.
Her face looked like, I hope you don't think I'm going to stop.
He thought I was bullshitting.
Right. Guess what? I got some more miles to go.
We're not going to my mama's house while you fucking around.
Right. The Siri, I mean, the fucking Google Maps was on, like, make a right here, you know. But yeah, y'all got it. So congratulations. Last thing, let's sword ratchet this out of here. Let's talk about how sword ratchetness almost got the GOAT. For a lot of y'all, GOAT. If not the GOAT, the second GOAT for most of y'all.
Okay, what happened?
Michael Jordan.
What happened?
Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Uh-oh.
So apparently, Michael Jordan, when was this? Okay, yeah, okay. So Michael Jordan almost got cut in half by a martial arts expert with a samurai sword at a North Carolina prison.
Oh shit, what is happening?
So when he was a kid, he was going to college. Dallas evangelist. How did I forget how to pronounce that. Bill Glass stopped in North Carolina for his prison ministry tour. To bring more excitement to his act, Glass called up the coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, Dean Smith, and he asked him to send him a basketball player. Now, the player Glass had in mind was Sam Perkins, because Sam Perkins was the man back then. But the player that showed up instead was Michael Jordan. The Weekend of Champions, as the tour was known, was all about giving the prisoners a good show to help them forget about the situation, even just for a minute. On this trip, Glass also brought along a man by the name of Mike Crane, a martial artist from Tennessee. Crane knew how to put on a show. To make things more interesting for the crowd, he brought out a samurai sword and requested a volunteer to assist in his next act. Michael Jordan volunteered. So he got on stage and he laid down on a table with a watermelon on his stomach. Crane blindfolded himself and sliced the watermelon in half without touching Michael Jordan. The problem was he actually did touch Michael Jordan. A small slice was near his navel. Jordan didn't notice it at the time. What he noticed was the tear in his warm-ups he was wearing. He earned those warm-ups from his first international tournament, and he didn't appreciate the sword slicing it. It wouldn't be until the car ride home he noticed he actually was cut. He didn't feel any pain because the cut wasn't that deep, but it did require 3 stitches.
Oh!
That's not a lot, Crane joked about cutting Jordan. He missed over 70 game-winning shots. Only mine were more costly. And Crane has done that trick 1,750 times. He's only cut 16 people. Which is,
I don't like those odds.
It's dope if you're not one of the 16.
It should be 0. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here?
Jordan would be okay, of course, and go on to win 10 scoring titles, 6 finals MVPs, blah, blah, blah. So, but we almost didn't have Michael Jordan, y'all, because we don't take swords seriously. Oh, look at this trick I'm doing. Cutting watermelon over a black man, message, and almost took him out.
I'm good.
All right, y'all. That's it for today's show. We got to do Walking Dead Wednesday. But thank you for listening, everybody. Appreciate y'all. Hope y'all like this kind of like format of us just regular talking and doing some meandering and taking y'all down different paths. It was fun for me.
It was.
I'll have to make a poll. Do y'all like the banter segment? Because we can get rid of it. We can keep it. It doesn't really matter to me.
Because like I said, we just be talking.
I just know the other podcast banter.
I realize a lot of podcasts.
I feel like we're supposed to have been doing that. It's our fault for not starting
we
to 2700 episodes, but we there now.
Before we decided to switch it up on you.
All right, y'all. Until next time, this is Drapetomaniax, y'all. I'm very proud of what we're doing over there. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. Peace.